All right, what is going on? Sorry about the delay. We are recording the picks video Saturday morning instead of Friday night. Steve was getting a little crazy last night, so we had to do it this morning. Somehow he's up this morning though.
I mean, I did get, that intoxicated because I do have to go to work after this. But,
Don't
you
lie.
know,
Don't lie to the fans.
no,
You're
I'm
going
not lying.
crazy.
I'm not lying. I don't go crazy at all. The Braves were on TV at the bar, watched them, had two or three brews, called it a night, passed out, woke up, and decided, it's time to pick some winners.
Did you catch any of that UNLV Fresno game? Because UNLV was really in that game for a while there.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked because, Fresno was like a 22-point favorite or
30
something.
point favorite.
30-point
30-point
favorite.
favorite. And they were
Yeah.
losing all the way up until I think the end of the third or the start of the fourth. That was crazy.
Listen,
Coming off
dude.
a huge win, too.
Yeah, it's a trap game. This
Mm-hmm.
league. This league. It's just, that's college football for you. You're going to have your weeks where you beat a top 10 team in the nation. Then you're going to have your weeks where you're struggling with a UNLV team that spends half their time in Vegas instead on the football field.
One thing I will say about UNLV is that I thought their coaching staff did a pretty good job, especially in their screen game. Is like they were making huge plays, and honestly, one of my favorite play calls this year was right out the gates of the second half. Right, Fresno's down in the first half, like 14-9. Obviously, the coaching staff is going to start hyping these guys up. Listen, we didn't show up to play. We need to show up now, right? Like it's on the
Hmm.
line. This is serious, right? This is a trap game. And clearly they're gonna come out ready to fight hard to try and make a big play out of the second half. Boom, they call a screen pass. First play out of the gate. The entire D line completely is flying up the field to the quarterback, trying to make that play. Because I'm assuming that the coaches are really hyping these guys up, like, dude, we need to make a play.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect play call. But off topic. Let's get into the picks here. Um, let's start off with dog of the week. So units, all that stuff on the screen. Me and Steve both positive for now. The house does always win. I'm gonna
No,
go
they don't.
dog of the week. My dog of the week pick. I mean, I've liked my dog of the week picks up until this point. I'm gonna kind of go with the same strategy. It's not necessarily a team that I think is gonna win. I'm not sure I'd pick them to win, but damn, getting the Colts divisional game basically plus 200. They're at plus 195.
Mm.
To me, that's just a little bit too much value. I don't really care too much about the backup quarterback. I understand that that's definitely a factor, but it's priced in enough. And I think that the Colts, you can make an argument that they just have the better team than the Titans. I know the Titans, that offense is great and it might look good, but this is a divisional game. These two teams know each other. The Colts defense, I think, will show up really this week. They did pretty well against the Rams. I think that plus 200 is a little bit too good for the Colts for me to pass up.
Yeah, I like that pick. The Colts could easily be 2-0. I mean, or at least 1-1. They've had a tough start. They're due a win. Like you said, I think they have a better roster than the Titans overall, especially on the defensive side. I don't think the Titans have a defense, but I like that pick. But for my dog, are you getting great odds? I think you are, honestly, as getting the Rams as an underdog here, plus 105. Listen, I know about the Bucks, right? And the Bucks are sick, nasty. Like you're probably getting a look at the NFC Championship here early. Honestly, I think these are the two elite teams in the NFC, and then everybody, and like the Packers are trying to find themselves, and then there's everybody else, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be your first look in to the NFC. I like the Rams. Rams at home. That place is going to be rocking. What's it called? SoFi Stadium. I mean,
Yeah.
we saw it on Sunday night. That place was loud. They're into it, and the Bucks are not going to win every game. They're going to go 13-4, 14-3 probably. And I see the Rams doing around the same thing, but I like them a little edged out here. Aaron Donald getting at Brady, and how do you always beat Brady? You create pressure, make them uncomfortable. Well, the Rams got the number one guy for that. I'll take the Rams money line. Give it to me.
I mean, I must say that there's not going to be very many times ever in like the this year and probably next year and probably the year after too, where you can take the Rams as a home dog. I really
Yeah.
don't see that happening all too often. So I do agree. If I were to take a pick in that game, I'd probably take the Rams. I'm going to stay away just because I like the Rams. I think the Rams are legit. I do think that they may struggle a little bit more than you're expecting this week offensively,
I
just
mean, I don't
because.
expect it to be like a blowout. Like it's gonna be a close,
Yeah, it should be
contested
a
game.
close game. I don't. I listen. That's a game I don't really know. I'm just gonna more stay away
But I
from
like
it than
McVay
more.
more than Bruce.
One thing I want to say though about that game is I just want to get the exact number. Yeah, over under 55, and
Mm.
those are two teams that last year had top five. I know the Rams were top five. I'm gonna assume that the Bucks were top five. They weren't. They were probably top 10. So pretty crazy that that's the highest total of this week, tied with the Seahawks and Vikings. 55 points on the over under for two good defenses. I am really thinking about taking the under, to be honest.
Oh, okay. You think both defenses show up?
I mean, I got boned a little bit by that under pick on the Colts Rams last week, thinking that 48 was too big and or like just too many points. I get a touchdown on top of that for a better Bucks defense. Um,
Mm. You gonna take it?
screw it, screw it. Let's take it. Let's take it. Rams Bucks under. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna keep playing it. If I keep getting boned by taking these unders that I think are just too high,
Mm-hmm.
I'll stop. But until then, I think I'm like 3-1 or 2-1 on the unders this year. So I mean, I'll just take it. I'll take it. It's too good of defenses for me in that football game, and I still hit on like a 28-24 kind of a game, which I'm kind of expecting.
Okay. I like that. I'm not gonna tell you, but I like it.
Um, let me see. I'm doing a teaser this week. I mean, I love my teasers.
Mm-hmm.
I may actually go with two, but for now, I am gonna go with the Ravens minus. It's a 6 point teaser. I'm gonna do Ravens minus 1.5 against the Lions, and I'm gonna go with the Chiefs minus one against the Chargers. That's gonna be a minus 120 teaser.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I really like the Chiefs as a teaser team this week, just because I really do not see this team losing two games in a row. It was, I mean, it was a great game last week. I think the Ravens deserved to win, but kind of like you mentioned on the 3rd and 20 podcast episode, Chiefs just didn't couldn't have turned the ball over. I don't know how to
I
say
mean,
it.
yeah, they
Words
turned
are
over the
coming to me.
ball.
Yeah, you turn over the ball late in the game and you lose.
Yeah, it usually that happens for the Chiefs when they come back from double-digit points. They create a couple turnovers or they get a couple key stops, and then their offense picks up the slack. It was kind of vice versa for the Ravens that time.
Yeah, and I mean, even though the scoreboard won't show it, and they did have some troubles, especially up front, the Chiefs' pass defense did look decent. Tyrann Mathieu was back, and he made some huge plays. There was one interception that he had where Lamar Jackson, I forget who he was throwing it to, but he was throwing it right down the seam, and he was expecting, and it looked like, like a Tampa 2 cover 2 kind of a look where you have that linebacker with his back turned, and you're just kind of, I mean, you saw Brady, I'm pretty sure it was, make the same throw not too long ago on prime time. Or no, it was Aaron Rodgers, where
Mhm.
against the Lions, he did that same throw where he just throws it right past the linebacker's ear. Um, I mean, that should have been a touchdown for the Ravens, but Tyrann Mathieu comes out of nowhere from the opposite side safety spot for a pick. Like, now that you got a guy like him back,
Mhm.
and with Justin Herbert throwing, I think Justin Herbert will go back to being a stud because he's getting the volume. I think he's gotten a little bit unlucky, but end of the day, Chiefs off a loss. I really think that they are almost guaranteed to win this game. A little
Yeah.
hasty of me, but I am very confident in this football team coming back with a win.
I mean, not many times you're going to see them lose two games in a row.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
with Patrick Mahomes playing, especially.
yeah. So, all right. So I got a bet here. I like. I like the Steelers -3. I'm getting
Hmm.
off. I'm not betting on the Bengals, of course. This game's in Pittsburgh. Only 3 points. You giving me? If Joe Burrow struggled last weekend, then I think he's going to really struggle this weekend against the Steelers defense. And when like the Bengals defense is playing above expectations, I would say. Like they look like a formidable unit. I want as a Steelers team that's owned the Bengals in the past, I want to see like Big Ben get comfortable. The offense really hasn't gotten cooking yet. I think this is a week at home. You're playing someone you're familiar with. You can really start to ease in. Your defense shows up. -3. I mean, you should win this game by a touchdown.
The only problem I have with the Steelers, they're definitely really banged up, so I'm a little bit scared. But man, you talk about ebbs and flows, like kind of like how I've been playing the Titans, right? Where every single time people are on them, I'm off, and then whenever people slightly jump ship, I think the Titans are a great team to take. That seems to be a great play with the Steelers, and right now people were on the Steelers last week to really blow out the Raiders. They were off the Steelers against the Bills. Now, once again, with the Steelers not showing up last week against the Raiders and being a little bit banged up, people are off them again. And you've
Hmm.
seen this line creeping towards Cincinnati. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we see this line creep even more towards Cincinnati as we get towards kickoff, kind of like it did last week with the Bears game. And then I think last thing of note, yes, the Steelers are banked up, but no T. Higgins. That is really big for the Steelers because man, like now all of a sudden Joe Burrow struggled last week in the passing attack. You take away probably the best weapon on that football team. You could say that Jamar Chase is, but as a rookie, I think that T. Higgins right now, it was the guy that I would be the most scared of. So now it's a big loss for the Bengals that you take away arguably their best offensive player.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm on the Steelers. Joe Burrow's still got to prove to me that he can play.
You know who's a good guy for a player prop possibly is Tyler Boyd. I feel like Tyler
Yeah.
Boyd always plays well against the Steelers. I mean, he went to Pittsburgh, so maybe there's a little bit of that kind of coming out. Like he's the kind of guy he wants to show up for. He'll probably have some of his like family and fans in the stands more so than usual. So I think that Tyler Boyd, if you're like have a questionable flex spot or whatever, and you have Tyler Boyd possibly in there, I think he's a pretty good start this week, even though it would be looked at as like a bad matchup going up against the Steelers defense on the road.
Hmm. I like that.
I'm gonna go. I want to take more picks, especially now that we're recording. It's like with the juices going, I just want to take like 9 picks.
Yeah.
But I think after this one, I may only go with one more. But I'm gonna go with the Packers money line plus 150.
Okay.
This is just one of those picks where I don't love it. Packers are on the road, but man, plus 150 for a team that's has a good shot of being in the NFC Championship. They have the past 2 years. They're finally getting off on the right foot now. We saw it last week against the Lions. 49ers offense has not been the offense that people are expecting. And right now, I think this line is kind of priced as if the 49ers offense is going to be that elite group that we are expecting. Um, Regardless, I think this is a coin flip kind of a game that I'm getting at plus 250. So I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride with you, but I'm gonna take the spread. I'm gonna take them +3. I do like the Packers in this game. +3.5 actually, or I mean, on my book it's 3.5, but I mean,
Yeah, I've seen some books where it started off plus 3.5, but some books have moved it to just plus three. Some others have stayed.
so I mean, like this game, is interesting, right? Because there's history in this game, and the media likes to hype up this game. But at the end of the day, I think why I like the Packers in this, just give me the better quarterback.
Mm.
I just like I'm off the Jimmy G train. I don't think that guy could play. So I mean he could play, but like not
I
to the
agree
level.
with you though. He's just been struggling because I mean, me and you both liked Jimmy G coming into the season, thought he was good, but there kind of just comes a point where it's like, man, there's a reason why they went up and got a quarterback at number 3, and I think I was a little bit wrong in that regard.
Yeah, so just give me the better quarterback at the end of the day. And I'm telling you, that second half team was a complete different Packers team. That was the Packers team we saw all of last season.
Hmm.
So I think they're kind of here. Now, it's going to be a gritty test because, like, still the 49ers, like, that's a formidable defense, even with Verrett out. You know, they got some questionable guys, but I'm sure they'll play. I mean, it's primetime Sunday game. Um,
I think they have some pass rushers kind of banged up too, which is kind of like the real kicker. Even if they play, if they're not 100%, because that is the real X factor for this 49ers team on defense and why they've been able to really destroy the Packers the past couple of years with that pass rush.
mhm.
Last thing I need to say about this game is this has been the year of like busted narratives, it seems like. We had the Chiefs last week losing to the Ravens. The Ravens finally kicking the door down and beating their almost like the big brother, right, of the AFC.
Yeah.
What if we see this narrative be broken? The fact that Aaron Rodgers just can't beat this 49ers pass rush, and that the fact that the 49ers just kind of own this Packers team and recently. What
Yeah,
if we see it?
recently. Last year, the Packers won, though. It was a Thursday night game they won. So, like,
Okay. Well, the thing is, last year I feel like it's kind of a mulligan to a certain, because like that was the
I
COVID
mean,
game,
yeah,
bro. The
Nick
the
Mullins was
49ers,
starting.
they were so they had like half of their team.
Yeah, so like I think
You're
now,
right though. You're right. The narrative has been broken. God damn it.
I mean, but like still, like I mean, they're out to prove some to some people. They have doubters. I'm a doubter, but I'm gonna bet them this weekend because I think they'll show up and play well, even if it's in San Fran. And you know, Rodgers being a Cali guy, you know, you talked about Boyd having some fans in the stadium. Rodgers probably will as well. You know, Packers fans travel well. I mean, I don't. I know he's not really close with his family. Actually, now that I think about it, dude's just an asshole. But
Yeah. So what if this is the reason why Aaron Rodgers has struggled in California is because of that relationship?
maybe, maybe not. Maybe he shows up to, out of
Speculative
spite.
betting.
But yeah, I'm just gonna ride that with you. But I'm gonna take the spread. Give me the points.
All right. What else do you got? Because that's I mean, I really am not a huge fan of the board for the NFL games this week. It's
I got one more bet, and I'm going against people on this. Give me -2.5 Patriots. I like this
okay.
line. Uh, the, listen, the Saints are a good team, and despite that blowout loss to the Panthers last week, I know it looks rough on paper, but this is what I expect. Is Belichick really going to start 0-2 at home? When was the last time he did that? Especially when Brady comes in next week on Sunday night, he can't already start 0-2 at home. So I'm going to take -2.5 Patriots. I think that D line disrupts Jameis. You know, he looked very uncomfortable last weekend. I think that trend continues to stay here. Also, I think Mac Jones continues to play. You know, he doesn't turn over the ball, keeps the ball movement, and Patriots control the clock, and they really shut down the running game. Probably see some film what would help the Panthers stop Kamara. They take advantage of that, and you see the Patriots roll off a dub.
Yeah, I agree. So, man, I really am thinking about taking another teaser here. That's actually a good point. Like, if you could check, has Belichick even started 0-2 and like
He,
ever?
I mean, maybe in his,
Maybe last year?
I
No, they
don't did
didn't
they?
last year because didn't they beat the Dolphins at home week one?
Yeah. So like maybe in his first couple years, but definitely under Brady, they never started 0-2 because they only lost like 2 games every year.
Yeah.
So
And there were probably road games too, right?
yeah,
Like,
so and it was probably like week 17, you know, like when they were already in. So yeah, just give me the Patriots, give me the better coach.
but you have any college picks? I thought you had some juicers in the college slate that you were looking at.
Oh yeah, well, um, I do. Let me pull them up real quick to pending bets. I mean, okay, first of all, NC State, this line started at 19 and a half, got betted all the way down to 15 and a half. Now it's back up to 17. So I woke up this morning, I hammered West Virginia. Give me West Virginia over Oklahoma.
Wait, I'm confused. NC State then to West
Oh,
Virginia.
sorry. I was looking at the last bet, but yeah, West Virginia plus 17 against Oklahoma. I think that you get a lot of points for this West Virginia team. They're a formal team. They're a good team. They're a ranked team. And I'm not selling Oklahoma. I think they're frauds. I'm not a big Rattler fan anymore. I'm selling all shares of them. Now, could Oklahoma come out here and win 45-10 and have a prove it game? Yeah, they could. But I'm leaning more that this game comes down to the wire. And so, like, 17 points is godsend. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with the Mountaineers. I think that's their mascot. So I don't even know what that is, but
It's
we'll take
something.
them.
Is Mizzou good this year? That's an
No,
interesting
apparently
game.
they
Mizzou
suck.
BC. Because I like BC, and they're a 1 point underdog. You can get them even odds to win that football game.
I mean, yeah, you're just basically picking at that point.
Oh man, I might take BC one plus 105. I like them coming into the season, and I know they've had some good results. I just haven't personally watched them play, so that makes me a little bit too uncomfortable to take them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just peeping some of these college games. Anything else juicy?
I
Um,
mean, I was talking about NC State. I mean, I like NC State here too.
yeah, they're plus 10.5.
Yeah, you get them plus 10 and a half. The thing is, Clemson's defense is going to show up. That's no question. But it's the other side of the ball. Like, do they even have an offense? Like, this offense is horrible. It's like so bad to watch, and especially if you're a Clemson fan, used to just these elite offenses in the past for the last 10 or so years. This doesn't even compare. You kind of look like a regular ACC team on the offensive side.
Mm-hmm.
NC State produces great D linemen. I think they get after that weak offensive line by Clemson is at home. I mean, they're going to show up for this game. NC State always plays Clemson close, tough. It's something about that. They have like a gritty way. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to take them here. Give me 10 and a half.
Trying to look, there was one game. Oh yeah, Hawaii is still 17-point favorite over New Mexico State. I might take that. I don't know. Like, and New Mexico's a favorite against UTEP. All I know is those New Mexico football teams suck.
Oh, yeah, they're
So
terrible. They're awful. I mean, they're up there with UConn.
yeah, I'm just gonna stay away from the college games though. That's more your wheelhouse than it is mine. I feel like I get into trouble once I start dipping into the college games. I
Yeah,
will say though, I feel like there's some juicy dogs in college though,
yeah. I mean,
which is always fun.
I got a couple more. I mean,
Oh
this game
baby.
starts in 2 hours, but Notre Dame plus 6.5 against Wisconsin. I don't really understand this. I think Notre Dame's a little overrated, but I mean, you're really going to give 6.5 points to Wisconsin? I mean, their quarterback sucks. Like Notre Dame safety, that dude's going to be a first round pick. I can't remember his name. It's like Kyle something, but he is by far the best player on that field. I think he stands up, makes a couple plays. Notre Dame knows they're underdog coming in this. They need to win this game. Also, it's a revenge game for Notre Dame's quarterback. As you know, he's a transfer from Wisconsin because
Yeah, Jack Cohn.
yeah, because they chose to go with the other guy. I think he's kind of motivated. He's back in Wisconsin. He kind of wants to have a little prove it game. Like, hey man, you chose the wrong guy, so give me Notre Dame here. I think that's a pretty smart bet. Another bet I'm on: Arkansas plus 5 against A&M. I know, like I love A&M coming in, but again, their quarterback play has just been too inconsistent. And I think this Arkansas team's for real. You're playing at home, or they play in Arlington, Texas. So like, I think it's a neutral site, but it's like it says that Arkansas is the home team, but then it says it's Arlington, Texas. So I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, no idea.
But at the end of the day, like Texas A&M's defense is really good, but I think Arkansas has that kind of like, you know, they're in the meat of their schedule. The next 4 games they play is all against top 15 teams. Like it's going to be tough, but I think this team's for real. I mean, you see how they ran the ball against Texas. I think that that trend continues today, where Arkansas is out there to prove themselves, and I think they get the job done.
Like, I agree in that yeah, Texas A&M does have a good defense, but let's not act like Arkansas has not been lighting it up offensively and both ways, right? They have a pretty damn good passing attack, kind of led by their stud receiver Treylon Burks. There's a lot of people that think that he might be, uh, probably like top three. I don't think anyone would necessarily say he's the best. I think that there's a couple guys that, I mean, I would just take Kayshon Boutte over him. I think that right now Kayshon Boutte to me is like the number one receiver in college. But after that, it's like Treylon Burks and a couple of other dudes that are like right up there, especially for like the draft next year, right? He's
Hmm.
definitely towards the top. But regardless, one of the top receivers in college football. So let's see if Texas A&M really has an answer for him. And like you said, not only that, Arkansas is able to run the ball as well. So that'll be an interesting game. Getting +5 and like if that game like becomes kind of a shootout and there's a lot of points being thrown around, I agree with you in that I think I'd rather take Arkansas +5 than A&M.
Yeah, because like I just don't think the quarterback play is consistent enough for A&M right now, where like they trust them. Like, dude, they're getting in these judge matches with these teams, like they're low scoring games and barely winning. That's just a telltale sign that your offense is not good.
Yeah. All right, so you got any more picks?
I mean, I'm leaning one just because I had a dream last night. Like, I woke up and made sure I was in real life because, dude, I don't know why it was, but like, apparently, like in my dream, I was looking at like the rankings and Rutgers was at 3. I don't know what the hell was happening.
Over Michigan money line? Are we
I,
there?
dude, yeah, I don't, I just woke up and the Shiano man was number 3 in the nation, but, I would kind of want to take Rutgers plus 20, low key. Um,
Yeah, but the one thing you were right though because we were talking about this game on the pod, and it was that, man, you get that feeling from Michigan this year that,
they're a complete dog. Like,
yeah, right.
they're just kind of,
People just aren't talking about them. They're getting the results that they need. They finally, like, I mean, defensively, it's Michigan, right? But offensively, it's like, okay, they can really run the football now.
yeah.
Which, like, I mean, not that Michigan necessarily couldn't run the ball, but it felt like Michigan for the past couple of years, it's like, okay, every 5 games, I'm getting a completely new freaking running back.
Mhm.
Whereas now, like, we finally are seeing some consistency, hopefully, if you're a Michigan fan.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to bet this game, but I thought it was interesting that I woke up to the Scarlet Knights in the college football playoff. But yeah, for that reason, I think like Michigan's finally in the place they want to be, where the hype's not on them, so they can kind of just like go under the radar and be really good and kind of just maybe steal this Big Ten away. Now, of course, if they keep winning games and start 8-0, I mean, they're going to be a top 10 team in the nation knocking on that college football doorstep, but playoff doorstep. But I want to see a little more first before I totally buy in on them.
Man, Arkansas plus 180 to win. Interesting picks here. I'm curious. So, Iowa State still -7 against Baylor. Have you seen any of Baylor this year? I honestly, I mean, you talk about a team flying under the radar. Like, I don't think I've heard a peep of Baylor.
I mean, what's the over under in that game? 30. Like
45 and a half.
those two teams are not going to score. Brock Purdy sucks. Okay. Baylor is like they're at home, your home dog. Like you're still playing against a ranked team. I like Baylor more in that matchup than I do Iowa State. Iowa State has done nothing to prove to me that they're that team from last year.
Yeah. I still believe in Iowa State. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a low key Iowa State fan, but I still believe in that group of guys. I just think they have too much talent, between Brees Hall, that tight end they have, Charlie Kolar. They have some good defensive players. Like, I just think they're too good to not show up at all this season. That would be really disappointing because I like that team. I think they have good players.
Yeah, they have a good roster, but like I don't know what's going on. Matt Campbell might have should have left for the NFL.
Kansas State is a dog against Oklahoma State. I haven't watched any Oklahoma State this year. I really liked them last year.
I know they started ranked, but that went out the door pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. West Virginia plus 17 and a half is looking kind of nice.
It's so many points.
It is a lot of for an Oklahoma team that's been playing nothing but close games.
Yeah, unless someone knows something I don't.
I mean, it's just West Virginia, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to take West Virginia there. Easily going to take them. I like them. I like even them to win that game outright. I can't get money line on that, but I would sprinkle it. Just
Mm-hmm.
because.
Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for me for the picks. I'm thinking about taking crap, but just not gonna do it. I'm not taking the bait.
Yeah,
I,
I'm done with picks. I like my slate. It's a little light on the NFL, but again, I think this is a terrible week.
yeah, that's the problem for me is that it, I think that there's gonna be one or two games that you look back and be like, damn, that was like a really good line for that
Hmm.
team, right? Like where you have because there's just so many two score lines, which in week 3 to me always spells a little bit of bait.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I'm really not a huge fan of a lot of the dogs. And I'm not going to be touching like the Falcons Giants game. I have no idea what the fuck is going to happen that game and those clown fiestas. And then I do like a lot of the favorites, right? Like I could see the Jaguars covering this week against the Cardinals, especially because I don't think people are. I think people are underestimating the fact that the Cardinals' offense has been ridiculously efficient and it's so unsustainable. It's just not going to happen the rest of the season.
Hmm.
And that they've just played close games.
Yeah.
Well, I know they played one close game, but that Titan, I don't even count that Titans week 1 game because that's a weird week 1 Titans game we've seen before. I thought that they should have handled that Vikings team a little bit better with how well they played offensively. Like I just wouldn't be surprised to see the Jaguars actually play well offensively this game because it's the Cardinals defense. You had one good game and then you got torched,
Yeah.
absolutely torched, and you should have lost. And I feel like everyone's just kind of forgetting the fact that the Cardinals should have lost that game. Um, but I'm not taking it. I'm not taking the freaking Jaguars. Screw that. Just as likely they could get blown out.
Yeah.
So,
It's tough betting on rookie quarterbacks. I
well,
mean,
yeah, especially when
I'm betting
Trevor
on Mac
Lawrence is just
Jones,
not
but
ready to play. Well, Mac Jones, the thing is, the difference between that is that we thought, and I've seen, Mac Jones is ready to play. He can
hmm
play now. He knows the system. He's comfortable. Like you can just tell by his freaking dropbacks. Like, okay, that dude, he's confident throwing the football, and
hmm
we haven't even seen him reach like where he's really slinging it. You know, he's been kind of. You can kind of tell that McDaniels and Belichick and whatnot are trying to just keep him calm, be more of a game manager. Like I'm excited to see Mac Jones in a game where he can actually rip it.
yeah,
Trevor Lawrence, it's the other way around. Like they're clearly letting him rip it, but he's just not comfortable in the NFL game. He's not entirely comfortable in the offense, but I think that will come at some point. They do the generational talent. We're going to see it. I think sooner rather than later, and we'll see that the Jaguars start turning it around. I just don't know what week that is, and I'm not going to act like I can predict what week that's going to happen, if it
yeah,
happens at all.
yeah. It's a lot of games I'm just staying away from because I don't know what the hell's gonna happen.
So the Jaguars, looking forward really quickly, they have a Thursday night game against like the Jets coming up, right? Something like
Hmm.
that. That's something I'm looking at because I think that that's the type of game that they could turn it around at. It's like a weird, a short week kind of a game where you're up against another rookie quarterback.
I think they're
You
the.
finally figured it out, kind of like the Dolphins did, I think last year or 2 years ago,
I
where
think
they
they have
had
the
a.
Thursday night game next week against the Bengals. I think that's what it is.
Because I think that that's the week that okay, we could finally see the Jaguar turn around. You get a weird Thursday night game, which has favored the dogs a lot in recent memory.
Yeah,
So if you're a dog coming into that game, you can kind of shock people, right? And the Bengals are coming off against a really tough game against the Steelers. That's going to be a physical matchup. So if you can get some momentum off of that game, then you get almost a bye week into your next. Like you can see how that's when the Jaguars can start building momentum. Probably
yeah,
not this week, but
yeah.
all
I
right.
agree.
With that being said, here's our picks. I'll scroll down to the bottom. Hopefully we stay positive. Steve, you are going crazy. You got a lot of picks here.
Well, it's a lot of college football.
A lot of college football. So you got a lot on the line today.
I won't even be
Um,
able to watch half of them. Sad.
but yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for watching, listening. If you're here, if you're in the stream. Sorry we didn't stream last night. We were supposed to, but shit happens.
Yeah, it's on me.
But yeah, hopefully we'll be back next week on Fridays, or maybe we'll just make it a Saturday thing. Who knows? But thank you so much. Peace out.